Hello, students. I hope you're all doing well. So for this lesson, I thought it would be a good idea to try using Zoom anyway. So I can use a screen share and we can look at the PDF of the book, and I'm hoping it'll help make following along and understanding what to do a little bit easier. So let me go to screen share real quick, and perhaps the first thing I'll do, I'd like to just show you how to get to the PDF in case you haven't already. Hopefully so, because you would need it to, I guess, at least have some help going through last week's drill. So here I'm logged into the class MUSI 1192-300. So from here you'll go to modules, and then you'll scroll down here. You see the lesson. So we're in lesson 2 this week. Last week was lesson 1. It'll have some of the things like the names of the strings and your fingers and all the drills. But we're doing lesson 2. So you'll click on that. Here's the password you'll put in once you open the file. All right. So I already have it pulled up, so what we'll be working on today. So in a previous video, I already went over the previous pages of the different rhythms. So make sure you check that out if this is foreign to you. So what I want to do is work through these drills. We'll play them on the open first string, so nothing fretted with your left hand, and might as well do the alternating of I and M like we did with the later drills. I think we started it on drill 4. So okay, so drill number 14. Let's get into this. So we know, it gives us the treble clef. Doesn't really matter at this point because it just wants us playing rhythms. This thing here, the 4/4, that's called a key signature. And that lets us know what number we're counting to, like repetitively for each measure. And the bottom one lets you know what note is going to get that beat or the count. So there's 4 counts or beats, and the quarter note, that's what the 4 stands for, will get the beat. So there's 4 quarter notes per measure for this exercise. Measures are going to be this space here, every group of 4. So this is measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4, and so on, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. So now that we've talked about that, I'd like to look at measure 1. Here we have 2 quarter notes followed by a half note. So if we're counting, remember quarter notes will happen every count. So 1, 2. 1, 2. That's how that'll happen. This half note will happen on 3, and we'll ring out over to 4. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice measures 1 and measure 2 have the same rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 3 here, we have 2 half notes. So the half note here, remember, it's 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, like we talked in the last video. So 2 half notes, you'll have 1 happen on count 1, and then another one on beat 3. And 3 will go into beat 4. So it takes up beats 3 and 4. So it's 2 beats long. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we have a whole note because it's empty. There's no stems like these have. So that's how we know it's 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these last measures, let's see, 5, 6, and 7. We've seen those kind of rhythms before in these first 4 measures. So what I'd like to do now is something that we do, if you're going to play in an ensemble, like a group of people, or if we're just all going to match up. I'm going to count 4 to start with, and then we'll begin. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we begin when I say the next one. So let's try this exercise. I'm going to count to 4. Let's do this. We're going to play on the first string only, and we'll just play the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the exercise. Feel free to rewind it and go over as much as you like. Print it off if you didn't buy a hard copy and write in the counts underneath it, and that'll help. Drill number 15 Here we have a different meter. We have 3 counts, still 4 for quarter notes, so 3 quarter notes per measure. So we'll have this, these will happen each count, 1, 2, 3, and there's not going to be a 4. You may feel an urge to stretch this third note out because we're so used to in our music to hearing 4. A lot of the music you hear on the radio, all the different styles, is going to be in 4/4. So think of this in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is a dotted half. Remember 3 counts, so just 1, 2, 3. Let it ring over, and then measures 3 and 4 are the same as measures 1 and measure 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, here we have 5, same as measure 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3. But here we have a new rhythm. We have the half note, 2 counts, 1, 2. This lands on 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Because measure 6 and 7 are the same. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you're familiar with like a waltz kind of dance, it's in 3, 4, and 3. So you would tend to feel like, you know, the beat, beat 1, a little bit louder or more forceful, more heavy sounding maybe. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, you know, kind of like that for the waltz. So anyway, I don't want to get too off subject. I'm going to count to 3 like before, this time just to 3, and we'll start on 1. And I'd like to read through drill number 15. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's drill 15. Sorry, I'm trying to follow on with the mouse, but I'm using it on my laptop with like the touchpad, and I'm sure you understand kind of how that would be. It's not super smooth. So drill number 16, we're back to 4/4. That's going to be 4 counts. Sometimes you'll also see, instead of 4/4, I believe I think we see it on exercise 1 coming up here in a moment. You'll see a C, like the letter C instead of 4/4. It just stands for common time. I'll bring it up again when we get there. I'll point it out. So here, let's go through some of these measures before we play through it. So here we have a dotted half note, 3 counts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how that measure goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here, these just are going to happen. They're quarter notes, right? They're not empty, and they have the stem attached. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, measure 3, we have a new rhythm. We're going to have, of course, the quarter note on beat 1, and it only lasts 1 count, so this half note has to come in on count 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this lasts for counts 2 and 3. 2 counts or 2 beats. You'll hear people say 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Just let's try and do the first 3 measures. I'll count to 4, and we'll try just measures 1 through 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Here we have a half note and 2 quarters. So 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Last 2 counts, 1, 2, and then, you know, each of these only lasts 1 count. So it's going to happen each time we count. Here we have a half note again. Remember, it happens on counts 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep going. I think we can try this whole thing together. This is the same as measure 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we have basically a mirror image. So we have a quarter note on beat 1, and then a dotted half, which is 3 beats on beat 2. So 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So that's how we know it's going to fill out the rest of the measure. 3, 2, 3, 4, when you put it together, worth 3 beats or 3 counts. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then measure 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Happens on all the counts. Let's give it a try. Let's try out drill 16. I'll count to 4 and see if you can follow along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Hopefully good, right? You can do that as many times as you like. You can slow down in YouTube. So if you need to, play along with me a few times, but to save recording time, I'm going to move on. Open strings of the guitar. So here's what the open strings, meaning non-fretted. If you're just playing them like we learned and they're all in tune, E, A, D, G, B, E. This is what they look like on the paper. So E, our 6th string, this one here, is going to be lower than the staff. You'll notice the bass strings are all below it. It's these lines here that we have, 1, 2, 3. Those are called ledger lines. They add those for the lower pitch. So if it's 3 ledger lines and it's below the 3rd one, we know that's going to be our 6th string E. If it's 2 ledger lines and the note is sitting on top of the line, we know it's A, 5th string, D, right below it, 4th string, and so on. We see G where it is, the line right above. Remember earlier, hopefully, I believe I went over it in the previous video. Every guitar beginner does fine. So every guitar, that's how we know. And it matches with our 3rd string G. Beginner, right? Every guitar beginner. B. And then for face, remember F-A-C-E. That's how we get the E here. If anything, even if you don't remember that, if you can just start to memorize as we go through each exercise, that'll work as well. So you'll want to make sure to look at this page right here, the top of, what is it, page 18? Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on. This is exercise 1. So if you look back up, you'll notice it's what string this is. It's string 1. It's E, F-A-C-E, from the space F-A-C-E. And this E is our open string. We had the rhythm before, it's just now we see what note it's connected to. If it's on a single line like it was before, it's generally it's pitchless. You could clap those rhythms if it helps to, because clapping, you've been doing more than playing guitar possibly. You could clap those out. Here we're going to play them out. So let me talk about this a little bit more. Remember the C I talked about? This is the same as 4/4. It means there's 4 quarter notes per measure. We'll be counting to 4, and they've the editors of the book have written in the beats, so it helps. You can always print it out and underline the beat that the note goes with. So here you'd underline 1 because of this quarter note. You'd underline 2 and 3, maybe not 4 because this half note's going to ring out over it. These let you know what fingers to use for your right hand. I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I. All right, so that's how you would read the notation. And I'll play through it and count. Here, this is to do separately. These are chords that we'll add to it. So we'll talk about this in a minute. I want you to work on these as well. I also want you to memorize by week 4 when we have our playing assignment where you will play. I guess I'll tell you what to record. You can either record it and send it to me, or I'd be happy to meet with you over Zoom and you play it with me or play it for me. So we'll work that out. I'll be emailing y'all about the assigned dates using, within the time parameters that you gave me. And I also have a meeting tomorrow on Thursday. So that I'll be setting up that you can show up and ask questions. And if I need to, I'll do another one next week if you can't make it. Um, so I want you to look at this E7 and memorize that. So remember how it goes. This is sixth string. This is fifth string right here, this line. So we're going to put finger 2 on the second fret of the fifth string because it's in the second rectangle. And then finger 1 goes on the first fret because it's in this first rectangle. And it's the third string. You could either count backwards 6, 5, 4, 3, or you can start and go right to left. 1, 2, 3. And then remember these numbers, let you do the fingering. I just want to cover it because I did the book, verbally these chords. All right, so let's play through this exercise and then I'll talk a little bit about the chords and I'll play through that as well. All right, here we go. I'll count to 4 as before and we'll begin and we'll play just the first string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, do that again if you need to. And you can play along once you get the chords down with that. You may slow it down to make it a little bit easier. So that's how you would do the notation. The chords, that's a separate thing. So what I want you to do is play the chords as whole notes, except for measure 7. So you'll play A minor when I say 1, or when you count 1, let it ring 2, 3, 4. Then E, when you say 1, let it ring out. I'll demonstrate and you can play along. A minor, that's how these are all going to work until we get right here. See where my mouse is? A is going to happen on beat 1 and E on beat 3. So think of them as half notes. We have A minor to end with. So I'm going to check my tuning, at least my 4th string, because these are new strings. And yeah, it's been slipping on me a little bit. All right, good enough for now. So let's give this a try, just the chords. I'll count to 4. Remember, everything's going to be a whole note. Just play them at the beginning of the measure, except measure 7. We have A minor on beat 1 and the E on beat 4. Here we go. Set up your A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And E, 2, 3, 4. A minor, 2, 3, 4. And E, 2, 3, 4. A minor, 2, 3, 4. And E, 2, 3, 4. A minor, 2, 3, 4. And A, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do that again now. I'm just going to count the numbers and change my chords when I need to. This will be a time, if you like, also play the notation along with it. It's meant to be a duet. Like if we had class, I would give half of y'all the notes written on the staff and the other half chords, and we do it a couple times and switch parts. So this is a chance you can play along with me. You can play the notes here. And as I mentioned, rewind it if you need to and play the chords along to the notes I played earlier. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, exercise 2, where we'll move on to next, is first string and second string. I'm going to move this up and get my video out of the way. See what second string looks like? It's right in the middle. It's 3 strings from the top, but from bottom up, sorry, and also 3 strings from top down. and we'll still have E, the top space. So this is what second string looks like. This is what first. All right, let's move down. And I guess before I move on, if you want to work on getting better at your E7 chord, as it mentions in the book, if you read the paragraph above, you can play E7 instead of the E chord. So A, 2, 3, 4, E7, 2, 3, 4, A minor 2, 7, sorry. You get the idea. You can play an E major or E7. And what helps for memorizing it, I'll try and show a little bit of my guitar as much as I can. Got a table in the way, is E major, this is E. And to play E7, lift up your third finger, and that's it. That's the difference, E and E7. And in a moment, we'll do E minor. What you do is you'll do the E major without your pointer finger on the first string. So I'm sorry, I know that wasn't a very good view of the chords. But let's move on. Exercise 2. So here we have half notes. So remember where they are, beats 1 and 3. You can print it off and underline the notes that they happen with. We'll either have our E, that's first string, what it looks like, or B here. And when we play the chords, look, we have all the first 4 chords. So let's work on the notation and just play through it. I think we can manage through it. Here we go. I'll count to 4 and we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I accidentally twitched and for measure 7, I cut off the beat. Let it ring. All right, now I'm going to play through with the chords. So let's see. We have it's one measure where we have 2 half note chords and the rest are all whole, meaning we play on beat 1, let them ring out. So A, measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4, all whole note chords. Just change the chords and play them when I say 1. A minor will be on 1 for measure 5, and C will be on beat 3, and everything else whole note. I'll count to 4 and play along with me if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now E, 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4, and E, 2, 3, 4. Half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's continue going along. You can look at the previous page if you need to. So here we have, this is what your third string looks like. Remember what that is? That's G. Remember the names of the lines, the acronym, every guitar beginner does fine, every guitar. So that's how we know this is our G string. That's right, 1 string above from the bottom string. We have the E minor chord is our new chord. You can use this fingering, which works very nicely because you can use finger 1 and keep it down from E minor to G. So look at what this finger does. Here's E minor. Keep that finger down and set my other 2 down. Okay. There may be some times, like if you're changing from E minor to A minor, that you would use 2 instead of 1 and finger 3 instead of 2. If that's confusing, just pay attention to what it tells you, what fingers to use, okay? Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to count to 4, and we are going to play through exercise 3, changing the strings, alternating your fingers. Always try and keep your thumb resting on the string above the one you're alternating. So when you're playing third string, thumb will rest on string 4. When you're playing second string, thumb will rest on string 3. And when you're playing first string, thumb will rest on string 2. All right, we're in 4/4. I'm counting to 4. let's play through this. Just the notation. So just the notes written here. Let me get my mouse. Let's see if I can follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I cut this note short, but let it ring out. That was just a mistake. It's been a long day. All right, now let's see. I'm going to play through it with the chords. All these are just whole note chords, so we're good in this area. I'll count to 4, and I'll play this. So you can also use this as a chance to play the notation while I play the chords, and just make sure your notes match up with my counting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2, 3, 4. All right. I'm going to do that one more time. As I mentioned, it's been a long day, and I had already almost finished this video, and I got a Zoom invite from a student, and I thought I paused it and I didn't. So I had to reshoot it, and my brain's a little fried. So I'm going to play it one more time just because I can't remember if I played E major or E minor. So I'm going to play through it one more time with the chords and just making sure that I play E minor for that first measure. So this time I'll make sure that it lines up, and perhaps the first time was right, but I'm going to be quiet and quit wasting time. I'll count to 4. You can either play the chords along with me or play the notes written below and just match up with my counting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. E major. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's keep going. Hopefully now it's making sense. So here's our last exercise. Number 4. It's all bass strings. We're in 3/4. So we have 3 quarter notes per measure. We'll be counting to 3. And this is going to use strings 4, 5, and 6. So I'm gonna walk you through this a bit. You can always print out the other page just so you don't have to flip back and forth. So this is the 6th string. Remember I said 3 ledger lines. It's below the 3rd ledger line. And then A is 2 ledger lines, and it's on the 2nd one. Here, it's E, right? 3 ledger lines, it's below it. A, 2 ledger lines, and it's on the 2nd one. Here we have D. So the 4th string, it's just right below. And remember, the acronym, every guitar beginner, this is an E on the line. The space right below that is a D, and D comes before E. If you look here, remember every guitar beginner is fine. Then we have face. Look, E for the bottom line, then F for face, G, and then it starts over the musical alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F. So for this top line. So if you just remember, the bottom line is E, and then just count from there. And remember, or sorry, say your alphabet, that once you get to G, it starts over A. So just to be keep with this little ADD side quest or whatever, we have E for the bottom line, F for the space above that, G for the line above that. Now A for the space, B for the line, C for the space, D for the line, E for the space, and F for the line. So just in case that can help you with putting things together. Once we do scales, it'll really make sense. All right, so these are all D. We go back to A, right? 2 ledger lines, and it is on the second ledger line. Here we have E, 3 ledger lines, it's below. And then A, 2 ledger lines, it's on the second one. So for this, what I want you to do is like we did for the exercise, I think it was 7 where we played, or drill 7, we played our thumb only. I want you to rest these 3 fingers curled like as if you were going to do a block chord, but they're going to plant, they're going to be your anchor while your thumb moves across the bass strings. So I'll give you a bit of a, like it'll look like this, right? And then your thumb as it plays, the strings will be like that. Your fingers will be planted on strings 3, 2, and 1. They just aren't going to play. All right, let's play this. On the count to 3, we're just going to play the notes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. You can always break it down. If you're struggling, maybe one measure, get the rhythm right. Then practice the second and put them together once you're comfortable. Get good at doing measure 1 and 2 and just add a measure at a time until you get all the way through. You're doing a lot of building work right now as you're learning how to play the guitar. So you're investing in a skill. So things that will be difficult now, if you work on it until it becomes easier, which will take a while. Once it's easier, it's there. You've invested, it's paid off, and it will become easier. But it's just going to be, it's a new skill if you haven't played guitar before. All right, I'm going to play through these chords just so if you want, you can play your bass lines to it, or you can follow along with me. We're in 3, and it looks like we have the chords E major, A minor, and G major. And let's just play dotted half notes. So every time I say 1, let it play and ring out for 3 full beats, and then we'll have to change chords. So here we go. Exercise 4, I'm going to play the chords. Either join me with the chords or reading the notation bass notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's it. You can always look on to exercise 5, and I'm going to play through that just without explaining things. You can write in the notes yourself, but I'm going to do it just for demonstration. So to not waste time, just set up the same before. I am in A on strings 3, 2, and 1 as an anchor, and your thumb will move across the bass strings. So I'm going to play through just the notes for now. And we're in 4, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you know how it goes. And I'll play the chords in case you want to accompany it. This is just for extra. It doesn't hurt to the more you see these notes, the better you will become at reading them and quickly recognizing what to do. So here's the chords. They're all going to be whole notes. So play on 1, there's going to be 4 counts, and then you'll change. Starting with G, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that covers it for this week. Shoot me an email if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to answer it there for you, or meet with you. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you. Well, not really. You'll see me in the next video. I hope to see you. I guess I'll see you next week will be our assessment, so keep your eye out for an email. I hope you have a good rest of the week, and take